Hello and welcome to a new tutorial. So today I would like to talk about using extenders in Lino Printing ink. Now, usually with paints, when you use extenders, it's usually used to extend the drying time of inks, whereas in Lino Printing, that can be partly true, but it's mainly used in two ways. One is to kind of bulk out the ink to make it go a little bit further. So when you're using it in small quantities, so less than 50%, so 1 part ink, 1 part extender or less, then it can be used to bulk out that ink and just make it go a little bit further. Or another way of using extender is to change the transparency of the ink. And this can be a really nice way of making your ink appear more translucent. So if you're using multiple layers, so a multiple block print or a reduction print, you can introduce some layers with extender added to them, so they appear lighter on top of the previous layer. So, I'll be completely honest, I've not really used extender for that way. So I've decided to try it using 3 different inks. A black, which is a opaque colour, a yellow ochre, which is semi-opaque, and a red rubine, which is transparent. So I'm going to use some 100% ink, then I'm going to do like a 50-50 mix, so 1 part ink, 1 part extender, and then I'm going to increase the extender, so there's 1 part ink and 2 parts extender, just to see how the ink reacts to having more extender put into them. So carry on watching and see what I came up with. So here are my results. So starting with the black, which is opaque. So as I was kind of expecting, there really isn't much change between the transparency from the 100% ink to the 1 part ink to 2 parts extender. The only real difference I noticed between this one and that one is this one felt a little bit more slippery when applying it to the lino. So I had to be a little bit more careful about inking the plate up, and then when placing the paper on top of the lino, just being more careful that it didn't slide about a little bit. But in terms of looks, to me, they look the same. So extender in an opaque ink didn't work as well as I was expecting. But saying that, I've only used it in black. So there are other opaque colours out there. So if you've got lots of time and you've got the patience to experiment, just try it out on lots of different opaque inks, because you might find you'll get a different results, because to be fair, black is quite a strong colour, so I'm not surprised it's not changed too much. So moving on, so this is the yellow ochre, and as you can see, there has been a change. So this is the 100% ink, this is the 50-50, and that's the 1 part, 2 parts. And you can see this one is much lighter than that one. So you can see putting more extender in it will make it lighter. So imagine if you increase the extender even more, it will become lighter. So that's the semi-opaque. Now, similar results in the red, which is a transparent ink already. And you see that's the 100% ink, the 50-50 or 1 part to 1 part, and 1 part ink to 1 part extender. And again, it's much lighter at this end there. So this is what they look like when they're just printed on their own. So what do they look like if you print them on top of a colour? So I printed some black background, and I printed first of all the yellow on top. So 100% yellow, 1 part yellow, 1 part extender, 1 part yellow, 2 parts extender. And as you can see, the yellow is more solid on this one compared to this one. It's much lighter. I should say I waited for the black to dry before printing on top. If you were to print wet on wet, it will give you a different look because the ink will sink into the bottom layer. But printing a wet layer on top of a dry layer, it will sit on top. So that's the yellow on top. So you can see just by adding some extender, it changes the overall look on the background colour. And this is the red on top of the black. And I don't know if you can see, but the 100% red has given it a bit of a metallic look. I actually really like that. Quite a metallic look. And then the more extender, you can barely see on top. So printing an already transparent colour with more extender on it onto a black background probably isn't the best looking result. But that one there, I really like how metallic it looks. So that's the black background. So here are my yellow background. So I printed the red on top, and it kind of gives it a bit more of a orange look to the ink. So that's the 100% ink. Then 1 part red, 1 part extender. So it actually makes it look more red when you put it. That really shouldn't happen, but it does look a little bit more red when there's more extender in it. And then that's the 1 part red, 2 parts extender. And to me, it doesn't seem to be much different between those two. But it does give a bit more of an orangey look to that. And then I printed the black on top of the red, yellow. So as before with the black on the white paper, there's really no difference between the three. But it looks good. Quite nice printing black on top of a colour. So you got those. And then I printed red background, and this is the yellow on top. So the difference between printing yellow on red compared to printing red on yellow, very different look. But you can see the more extender put into the yellow, it becomes less visible. And then this is the black on top of the red, and once again there's not much difference between the three. So this is just using 3 colours. So what you could do is whatever colours that you've got is just to experiment and just try different amount of extender to the ink. Try it separately onto white paper, and then print it on top of other colours. Try printing wet on wet, wet onto dry. All these things will give you a different overall look. So it all depends on how much time you've got, how much you're willing to experiment with extenders. But you can have a lot of fun doing this. So I'm tempted to do some more. So if you do give this a go, let me know how you get on in the comments. And see you another time. Bye.